It is rivalry week, ladies and gentlemen, and coming up on today's show, we got a triple dose of great news for the Baltimore Ravens when it comes to Sunday's contest against the Pittsburgh Steelers and for the rest of the 2025 NFL season. But while they're duking it out on the football field, of course, we're duking it out right here on YouTube with our Chat Sports Steelers channel called Steelers Talk, and right now they got an 11 subscriber lead on us. We gave you an update this morning. We're going to keep you updated all throughout the week because I cannot lose this, okay? Because if we lose this, I don't want to even know what that means for Sunday's game. If you haven't joined us yet, and if you hate the Steelers, two great reasons to hit that subscribe button. John Harbaugh, as he usually does every Monday afternoon, spoke to the media. And this is the first time hearing from John Harbaugh in a very, very long time. Of course, they got that mini bye week after Thursday Night Football against the Cincinnati Bengals. And he gave Ravens fans a lot of great things to be excited about. Number one, talking mainly about the cornerback one on your team, a guy who's going to be massive if he plays in Sunday's game, and that, of course, is Nate Wiggins. As John Harbaugh announced today, that he is officially day-to-day rather than week-to-week, which is what he was listed as after Thursday night's game against Cincy. Brian Wacker with a little bit more from John Harbaugh. Harbaugh said it's day-to-day right now, and, quote, we'll see where he's at on Wednesday when they come in for their first practice of the week. Look, this is huge for Baltimore. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I think we all remember how this team looked, how this secondary looked, and how this defense looked after Nate Wiggins hobbled off the field after that first half was over. Okay? We didn't think it was necessarily a massive injury. A lot of people actually even missed the injury occur, and then we're sitting in halftime, and then we get a notification that says Nate Wiggins out for the rest of the game. The defense absolutely collapsed without him there, and this thing turned from what was a very good game where your offense had a chance to get back into it to now both your offense and your defense out there performing like they've never played football before in their lives. And another big reason of why this is such a big deal is you're going up against a passing attack in the Pittsburgh Steelers that is not very good. Okay, they rank 24th in the National Football League when it comes to yards per game at 24th. Yards per play is actually at 5.9. That's around the 20s. And their EPA per pass, is negative 0.0919. So if you can get your best cornerback out there to help further shut down this unit that hasn't been that great so far, I'll take that any day of the week. One of the reasons they haven't been so great is their offensive line isn't great, but they don't have many great pass-catching weapons. I mean, look at the wide receiver room. This is the wide receiver room we've actually talked a lot about on this channel from the very beginning of the offseason with DK Metcalf, Calvin Austin III, and Roman Wilson. Like, if you can squeeze out their passing attack by throwing Nate Wiggins out there and saying, hey, you deal with DK, you take DK away from this game and only give Aaron Rodgers, Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin III, and Pat Freiermuth to throw the ball to, I'd feel really, really good about where things are going on Sunday. What do you think the percent chance that Wiggins plays against Pittsburgh is? Scale it for me 1 to 100 in the comment section down below. Of course, 1, you're thinking there's almost no chance at all. If you're giving me an 100, that means you're feeling pretty decent about his odds. Let me know in the comment section. The other part of great news is that Emery Jones Jr. will continue to be working in at left guard for the Baltimore Ravens. And this is great because after his debut, after his rookie debut against Cincinnati, a lot of people thought, ooh, maybe that was something they just wanted to try, and it didn't go perfectly. Maybe they're going to dial things back a little bit, tighten the leash a little bit more for the young kid. But no, John Harbaugh affirmed to all of us that that is not the case. He said he played like a rookie in his NFL debut, but he expects him to continue playing at left guard. Cross-training at right guard doesn't sound as viable. A little bit more on that in a second. As for Andrew Voorhees' play, this is the great part. There is a step between being a starter and an established starter, which I think is what we've been waiting for John Harbaugh to come out and say for the entirety of this season, but he keeps dancing around that question, well, of course, until today. Now, Emery Jones Jr. did look like a rookie, right? Committed a penalty, missed a couple blocking assignments, but it was his first game in the National Football League, and I feel like he at least showed some promise. He at least showed something to be excited about in the future at that position, which right now, when you look at the interior of the offensive line in terms of both guards, there's not much to be excited about at all for tomorrow. Nonetheless, years down the line. And Cole Jackson, one of my favorite Baltimore Ravens content creators, he said one of my biggest takeaways from Emery Jones' film is how much more of a fluid athlete he is. What's going to come in is his game speed, his athletic ability merging with his processing. As his processing skills improve, you'll start to see more quickness. He's an elite athlete. He's got that trait on lock. That is something that he already has a massive head on when it comes to Andrew Voorhees and Daniel Fontaine. I'm just happy, frankly, that they're not giving up on him. I'm just happy that John Harbaugh didn't see one game and say, you know what, he's just not ready. Because although he might not have been ready then, who's to say what's going to happen 3 or 4 weeks down the road if you continue to get him solid reps? Now, it does make sense why they're only going to play him at left guard. He was a left tackle in college. He started like 33 games at left tackle in college. He's used to playing at the left side of the line. And like John Harbaugh said, it's not exactly viable to be cross-training him at both left guard and right guard when he's only been in the NFL for like 3 months. I think that is the right decision there. Now, do I wish they would have started him at right guard over left? Yeah, probably. I think Daniel Fontaine is worse than Andrew Voorhees, but that's like saying what's worse, sardines or raw Brussels sprouts? They're both pretty damn bad. I've still got pretty much solid confidence, though, in him for next year. Like, I feel like with some solid reps the rest of the season, a full off season of training, I'm going to have really, really, really good thoughts about him being the starting guard, left or right, in the 2026 NFL season. Will he be the starter in 2020? That's not 2026. You let me know in the comment section down below. That's bad on me. Don't be mad at Producer Gage in the comment section. If I see you mad at Producer Gage, I'm going to block you. But let me know down below. Like, give me a yes or no. I got something you'll say yes to. You will say yes to this all day long, and that is our great friends over at Prize Picks. They make watching football somehow even more fun. It is the holiday season, and that means it is the best time of the year for sports. You got bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which game to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right, and that is Prize Picks. My wife, coming into this year, couldn't even name 4 pro teams. Then we started playing on Prize Picks. Now, every Saturday night, we're breaking down who she's picking for her lineup. It's the most exciting way to watch football. Prize Picks now has early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. On Prize Picks, how you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose flex play. But if you want the biggest payouts, go for the power play. We got Monday Night Football tonight. Here is my Prize Picks lineup. If you want to be following along, I got the more on Travion Henderson, 65.5 rush yards. Less on Jackson Dart, 205.5 pass yards. Even the more on Younghoe Koo, half a field goal made. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. The link to this promo is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. And the final the final of the triple dose of good news, great news that is, the Ravens defense is really, really getting healthy. I'm not just talking about Nate Wiggins. No, I'm talking about 2 guys that we actually haven't seen from pretty much all season long. We haven't talked about in a while. That's our Darius Washington and Tavius Robinson, who John Harbaugh said today there is a chance they both could return to practice this week. Now, when it comes to Tavius Robinson, that's great. That's just another body on this defensive line in this pass rushing unit that struggled pretty much all season long. But our Darius Washington coming back in the fold right at the end of this season, oh my goodness, is that going to be scary for opposing offenses across the National Football League. Because what you saw last year was when this team looked to our Darius Washington, he was the difference maker. Kind of similar to this year, you did not start the 2024 season off very, very hot when it came to your defense, especially in your secondary. And then you started playing our Darius Washington, Marcus Williams, and your season flipped on a dime. And additionally, he'll give Kyle Hamilton an even added bit of versatility. Probably even less snaps at the safety spot and more in the slot, at linebacker, on the defensive line, really anywhere you want to put him, because as we know, the more free reign that he has, the better your defense is going to be. And you're going to need it to be pretty damn good coming down the stretch because you got the Steelers twice, the Bengals, the Patriots, the Packers. Bengals with Joe Burrow, the Patriots, and the Packers, 3 really, really good offenses this season. We're going to rattle off some quick takeaways coming out of John Harbaugh's press conference today. Stuff we didn't get to, but stuff I still think you need to know. Harbaugh defended Derrick Henry's lack of carries in the second quarter by saying there really weren't much opportunities for him, just given the fact that it was some turnovers, some quick 3-and-outs. Frankly, I don't really buy that because if you give the ball to Derrick Henry earlier in those drives, they're probably not going to be 3-and-outs. Okay, John? So you can shove it up your pie hole. Chandler Martin, torn ACL. He's going to be out, unfortunately, for the rest of this year. He was a special teams warrior, UDFA, out of Memphis. Hate to see him out until at least training camp next season in July. Justice Hill is dealing with a neck injury. He's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks. So what that means, you're going to see even more Keaton Mitchell and probably a lot of Rasheen Ali to end out this season as well. Speaking of ending things out, that's the end of today's video. Make sure you got me followed on social media. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, youtube.com/RavensTV. Everyday coverage, your favorite team in black, purple, and gold right here on the Ravens Rundown.